why Rowena is from Aga Khan Foundation, and she's here to tell us, and advise on what we can do to actually end teenage pregnancies in Uganda. Welcome, Rowena. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
Much for having me, Galaxy team. I'm doing well and happy to be in the studio.
Mabulamu bwange ntanya basomera kwa Aga Khan. Do you know why? Too much English. Yeah, era botandise okugaana ngamba
Nogame no sho sigenda gisobola. Nja kuvunulira.
If I tried to speak in Luganda, you would be complete. Your ears would be assaulted.
So okay, it's
English.
okay, it's okay, madam.
Chayogedde kitegedde.
Ngenda kukubira. Go on, madam.
So, Rowena, one wonders, what do you think, what are the gaps and what needs to be done to prevent or even end teenage pregnancies?
Okay, thank you. So I'll just speak a little bit about what the Aga Khan Foundation's role is in ending teenage pregnancies, and then maybe we can talk about the broader aspects of it. So Aga Khan Foundation focuses on leveraging human beings. We believe that any human being has potential to develop themselves and meaningfully participate in society. And we especially focus on the vulnerable ones. So these young adolescent girls we are talking about, the poor, amongst many others. And so we focus on providing health, education, agriculture and food security, and health and nutrition solutions to these very vulnerable people. So we've been running a program for the last 1 year. It's a pilot program, and this program is focusing on ending teenage pregnancies or contributing. We know that one organization cannot do it all.
Yeah.
So this program is focusing on reducing the number of unwanted pregnancies for teenage girls. We know that, maybe there's a time when we assumed that whoever gets pregnant, it's out of a willingness to get pregnant.
I know.
But we've realized, as you said, that many girls have become extremely vulnerable over the period of COVID because they are with their abusers. They spend time at home, they spend time in the communities unprotected, unobserved. And so you find that
Unattended too.
Unattended too. And so for them, they don't have the luxury, to prevent pregnancy. So,
it's not funny, Nimrod. Don't laugh.
No, I'm laughing at little Joe. Ngenda kuvunulira tufayo tugenda.
Madam, you can flow. Flow the thing.
Yes. So as Aga Khan Foundation, what we are doing is we are trying to reach these young people through one digital platform. We also and through this digital platform, we are trying to reach them with information, but also we are trying to connect them to services, quality services, that will help them through taking up positive behavior, using family planning, understanding what their sexual health is about, understanding what their health is about and how it contributes to their well-being. We are hoping that also through providing community support. So we are bringing together all these actors who can possibly support these young people, whether it's government leaders, whether it's their partners, boys, men, and parents. We are bringing them together to provide this support. So I think maybe one thing I can speak to broadly is that because so many organizations are doing a lot when it comes to adolescent pregnancies, one thing is for us to collaborate, to try and collaborate, find out what everyone is doing, work together. Find out what everyone is doing and then see how can we merge these programs and actually have a positive impact.
You know what's even more heartbreaking is those days you would think that, for example, a child or a teenage girl is safer, let's say at home, or if they are living with a relative, they're living with an uncle, or you would even think that they are at school, because we always thought that people that are responsible, for example, teachers or, people that work at schools were responsible and they would protect girls, which is not happening today. You find a young girl that is being abused by someone that is supposed to be taking care of them, a child that is being abused by, let's say, an uncle or a relative that should be protecting them. So how do you think we can protect girls from the risk of sexual violence while in schools and even homes?
Yes. So I think just the way there was a rise in teenage pregnancies, there was also a rise in sexual and gender-based violence. I think the police reports showed that during this period, there were a lot of complaints that were coming to them. So what we can do is, one, we really, really need to get information out there about the potential risks when it comes to GBV. Help the girls understand that, yes, you might be in this environment where you assume people are going to protect you, but no, that might not be the case. And if that is the case, we know that some these crimes, these are crimes, actual crimes in the penal code, you know, in the law of Uganda. So how do we also get those law enforcers on board? How can we bring all these people who can support or protect these girls to the table? How can we get organizations that actually are carrying out work under GBV, or you know, that can help these young girls? How do we also bring them on board to make sure that all these programs they are doing, these young people are aware? And I think just sort of being empathetic enough to support them and know that, okay, you're a victim, and even if you report, you will be protected. We know that sometimes culture or society prevents them from reporting because they feel, okay, this is my family member, how do I go? And in some cases, you find that when a child, for example, a young girl is defiled, her parents instead will marry her off to this person rather than reporting to police. Either they've been bribed by this person, or you know, they just feel it's an embarrassment.
And in some cases, parents, especially I'll tell you in villages, for example, if there is Nimrod, and Nimrod is like an uncle that is the breadwinner, and they defile a girl, they are going to choose not to embarrass Nimrod as a big person, and then just keep quiet with it and let a young girl suffer with this trauma, but they are protecting the man.
Exactly. Now, this is my personal opinion, not the AKF opinion. For me, I would actually arrest these parents, to be honest, because I think that, you know, at the end of the day, if this young girl cannot be protected by her own parents, then you're really leaving her, you know, to the world, you know, in any such way. But I think ideally we really need our law enforcement to get on board. They have to punish perpetrators. They have to show these victims that if you report, something is going to be done about it, so that they are more confident to actually do it. And I think engaging leaders really in communities, those people who a young girl can go to and, you know, say, this is what happened to me, someone who's trustworthy and who can take on this case. I think one of our programs actually over the COVID period was training community leaders to be able to support persons with disabilities. So I'll say the same thing for adolescent girls, to understand what pathways can you use to actually report, and how can you actually focus on protecting the victim first, and so that they are comfortable enough to report. So I think bringing people on board and really focusing on our law enforcement is important.
Rowena, so why do you think that sexuality education is critical in ending teenage pregnancies?
Yeah, so I think sexuality education is extremely critical, especially if it is age appropriate. For example,
age appropriate, you are starting from what age?
From 6.
What?
From 6.
Wow.
And sexuality education is not necessarily talking about sex to a child.
Yes.
It's really telling them, okay, at one point you're going to go through certain changes. Your body is going to react a certain way. You'll find people who are interested in you a certain way at one point, you know.
Yes.
How do you deal with such things? And I think there was a framework, a comprehensive sexuality education framework that Ministry of Education and other actors had developed. And I think the idea was that it was starting from 6 until I think until 19 years when you're a teenager or slightly older. But what it had is that it had different ways you could talk about sex to the different age groups.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you find that maybe as an adolescent, as I said, your mind, your body, everything is going through changes. How do you understand that? And how do you use it? How can you as the adolescent, but also partners, how can you take advantage of that window to provide proper information, to provide proper interventions that can help these young people based on that understanding? So I think when we're doing our research for this program, we found that many parents are actually confused about their teenage children. They can't understand the behavior. They are shocked. They don't know how to control them. So I think once you understand that, it's easier for you to actually know, okay, what can I do to support this young person?
How can I talk to my child?
Exactly.
To even
Even
just
saying
building
some of these things is not easy.
Yes, but also just building confidence in your child, and you know, reminding them every day that you do not let someone touch your body, or when someone does something, give a child or a teenage girl the confidence to speak. And you can talk to me about anything. If you find someone that, you know, touches you badly, open up to mommy, open up to daddy.
nga
How do you even actually open up? It also matters.
Yes,
How
and-
do you say these things?
Yeah.
Or how do even the parents, how do they talk to the child?
Yeah.
Also matters.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Parents-
nzikirizibwa okwogera mu luganda oba
Yogera
mpulira
ngenda vunula.
Mpulira.
Mm.
Mpulira.
Yeah, nsubira ku nsonga gye mwogeddeko.
Ogitegedde ensonga gy'oyogera.
Omulamu omunene according ku ntegeera yange
Mm.
nsuubira kirina kudda nnyo mu bayita ba law enforcement nti emisomo mitono wansi so ng'ate munnamateeka bw'ayogera abantu bakitwala kituula mitwe gyabwe than ffe ng'abantu aba bulijjo naye bw'abanga otugeze wa musirikale nga azze wansi ku wansi eno ku kyalo ne bongera emisomo ne bongera okuwabula n'okwongera obbalaga ki olina kuyita wanawa kuba bangi beetya okwogera so ne babongeramu amaanyi okuba nga basobola okuvaayo ne bamanya kino kibi kino kirungi kuba bali mu butamanya suubira singa poliisi eteekamu nnyo amaanyi oba n'amagye ne bongera okusomesa eno wansi kuba abasinga jakozesa akagambo primitive.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yenda oyiga
Kagambo ki?
Yeah.
Sokoleke kagambo ki?
ngenda kukubira
esimu yebeereko.
Okay, let's talk about the role of media in ending teenage pregnancies. How should we come in as media people or TV or anything like that?
Yes. You know, when we're doing, I'm sure you all remember Straight Talk. Maybe
Yes.
you were young during
That
that time.
what
But
happened?
that pull out that was Straight Talk is actually still an organization that is very much functional. And you know, when we were doing our research, a lot of the young people said they used to get their information from Straight Talk.
Yes.
You know, and it was helpful. I think over time there's a bit of an information gap. You know, that social responsibility maybe. Now, what is more entertaining is what is more interesting. So, I think what media can do, one, is to raise awareness about how serious the situation is.
Yes.
Yeah. On radio, on TV, you know, and it's also an opportunity for them to bring partners on board to share what can the different people in society do about addressing this issue, but also sharing information, like, you know, the way Straight Talk used to. What is sexuality? What does it mean when you're in puberty? So taking advantage of those of that space to bring attention to the situation, to maybe advise on solutions, what can be done, how can parents talk to, you know,
Their
to these young
kids.
exactly to their
And how can the
kids.
kids refuse?
Exactly what to expect. So I think it's definite, and traditional media is still one of the biggest ways to reach people in Uganda. So that is a very big opportunity.
And considering that this is a conversation, I would love the listener as well to, you know, to share what they think could be done to end teenage pregnancies. And the WhatsApp number is 0707 102 102. We'll be glad if you send us a voice note or even just, you know, share your experience.
n'ekirala kyensuubira kiri nti okwendinga ekyensonga gye tuliko abantu abakulu okufaayo ennyo ezo firimu ze balaba nti ogenda n'osanga omuntu omukulu nga firimu gyali mu kulaba n'abaana be
Very child friendly.
webale nnyo nga mulimu ebintu ebitasaana mwana kulaba jjukira ye bw'abiraba ayagala abigezese jjukira oluusi baana n'abaana tewali agenda kuwabula munne nti oba kino kibi so n'ezo firimu singa bazikweka nnyo kuba tosobola bagamba nti temuziraba kuba ddembe lyabwe naye bazikweke nnyo naddala abaana basunsule firimu ki ezo abaana ze balina okulaba abamu tugenda bugenzi ku library n'otumayo mwana litayo gundi ne gundi n'ojja ne baleeta ne bateekamu buki buteesi abamu bateekamu na sidi nkyamu naye abaana ne balaba ebyo nsuubira nakyo kisobola okuyamba
nakati ntegedde lwaki wayonooneka otya.
mulo kyekimu ku byanyonoona mulo amazima googerwa
Walabanga firimu ki?
zino eza FDC.
Well, Miss Rowena, before we let you go,
Yes.
what do you think the role of the government should be in this? What do you think exactly needs to be done by the government, first of all, and then maybe the role of schools, parents and caretakers, and also considering that when you introduced yourself, you said you were from the Aga Khan Foundation. Also would love to know what you guys at Aga Khan Foundation pledge to do.
Okay. So I think for government, one, we know that government is the one that sort of sets up the laws, the legal framework. They set up the structures to make sure that this legal framework is being implemented. There are so many policies and laws that government has that can enable young people to actually get the right information, get the right services, and actually, prevent teenage pregnancies. So one of the issues is enforcement, just making sure that everyone understands their role in the process, and that they're able to enforce these policies, and they're able to enforce these laws, and that they bring everyone on board, the parents, the young people, whether it's through consultation, they need to bring everyone on board and find out what do these people at the community level, what do they think is the best solution for them, to support and to end these teenage pregnancies. The information gaps need to be addressed in school and out of school. How can they partner with people who are already doing this work and just bring all these actors together and make sure that, yes, the support that's being given is what is necessary, what is needed to address these gaps that government might not be able to fill, whether it's in information, whether it's in providing livelihood so that girls are able to get out of that state of relying on a man or feeling that they are too poor to actually,
Survive without a man.
Without that kind of support. How are they actually working with these people to make sure that they are addressing those poverty, they're addressing information issues, they're addressing all of that. As Aga Khan Foundation, what we pledge to do really is to, one, continue reaching these young people with services, quality services, so partnering with service providers that can offer quality sexual health and reproductive health services, but also ensure that we are using different platforms to share information in creative and innovative ways that are actually attractive to these young people, but also attractive to their communities.
And make sure that the message is packaged so well so they actually understand it.
They understand.
Yes.
That's what we're trying.
Kale ebigambo bye bisembayo mu Luganda.
Oluganda sisobola.
Ogenda gezaako. So in mu Bufuut
no Luganda efe babeera ne bawulira buli Luganda gwe muntu yayogera. Kati gwe yayogera Uganda yonna ffe no bajja kuba
mwazikeyo olwange.
Olulwate lufu wama ebigambo bye bisembayo.
Temugenda kuteekako ka commercial break.
Tubigyeko.
Mwebale aba Galaxy okumpa
omukisa
okwogera ku a project that I'm running tusuubira nti no message yaffe egenda etuuse to the right people
eri abantu abatuufu ekiddemu
eri abantu abatuufu
va ku munno.
So yeah, tujja kubeera nga tukola n'abantu ne partners olaba nti no ekintu kya teenage pregnancy tukikola.
Nina ekibuuzo kye njagala kubuuza madamu. Ki ekyakuleetera okubanga ekyo kyolonzeewo okubanga mulwanyisa child pregnancy? Ki ekyakuleetera? Naawe wazaala oli muto, oyinayo mukwano gwe yazaala nga muto, omutima wagujjawo ogwo?
Ki ekyakuleetera okukola ku radio?
Ngenda kukubye.
Nze ndi muzadde ate nina abawala. Nina omuwala wa 11 years mukulu, so ali ku age eyo eya potential, so bwebanga mulaba nze ndaba nti no bano abaana bato bali bato in body maybe not, naye in their minds it's so easy to take advantage of them.
Yes.
So okubeera omuzadde
ayina kubuulira baana be okwewala abantu nga ggwe.
But we thank you, Miss Rowena. We are very sure that this information is very useful to a parent or even a teenage girl that is listening, or a caretaker or a teacher. All round very helpful, and thank you.
Nammwe agasajja gye muli mwana bino byonna babyogera lwa nsonga ffe. Leka mukyuseemuko.
My daughter bannangenda ttema omuntu wowa.
Look who's talking.
This must be Galaxy FM. Number one. We apologize for being number one. This must be gonna be a
Let me tell them, girl, them know.